Hey everyone. I wanted to talk to you about this new show on HBO, Like Water for Chocolate. Um, I watched the first episode of it. It just came out. It's kind of being broadcast as a limited series. Um, and I was not happy with it at all. And I'm going to explain to you why. First of all, I'm a pretty big fan of the original movie, which came out quite a long time ago. I remember I saw it in the theaters when it first came out. Um, I thought the original movie was excellent. I don't think there's any need to create this new version of it on HBO. I get that Salma Hayek, who's the executive producer, I get that she's a billionaire and she's probably a little bored of repairing Notre Dame Cathedral in France. I know she's been working on that with her money. However, this is one project that didn't need to be fixed. The original, Like Water for Chocolate, the original movie, is a classic. It's short and sweet. It's like a 90-minute movie, and it's a simple love story. So it doesn't need to be this gigantic, mega maxi series like they're doing. Kind of reminds me of don't Lord of the Rings it. You don't take like The Hobbit, which is like a 60-page book, and turn it into three gigantic, epic movies. It's just silly. It's just silly. So I saw it and wasn't too happy about it. First of all, it starts off with like cumbia music, which is completely incompatible with the story. This is about they should have been playing like norteño music. This is northern Mexico in a small town in Piedras Negras. Wasn't this huge place like they're making it look in this new series. They make it look way more grandiose than it probably should have looked. They have these magnificent balls in these huge buildings, and everything is all garishly decorated and super opulent. They're trying to make it a Mexican Bridgerton or something like that, and it just doesn't mesh with the original simple love story. I loved the original one. In fact, I went to and I actually met Laura Esquivel, the writer. I met her at her house in Mexico City, and she invited me in and gave me cookies and coffee. She gave me a copy of all of her books. At the time, she had only had these four, I think, and signed all of them to me. It was really sweet. Here she says, con sincero efecto, Laura Esquivel. This was her book, Íntimas Suculencias. But of course, the big one, her biggest classic, was Like Water for Chocolate, Como Agua para Chocolate. And, this is a classic. It changed everything. The movie itself, she wrote the screenplay for the original movie in addition to writing the book. So it definitely is more true to the story because she wrote it. She wrote both of them. The original movie, everything just kind of works from the music, which is much simpler, to the acting, which is amazing. It was excellently cast. In this one, the casting seems a little off, especially with Mama Elena. She's supposed, the current actress for it does a good job, but first of all, she looks way too young. She looks like the exact same age as her daughter Tita, the main heroine of the story. And she's nowhere near the monstrous characterization that Regina Tournay gave in the original movie. That's one of the things that's off about it. Another thing that's off is, like I said, just the over opulence and grandeur. Sure, the family in the book does own a ranch, but like I said, it's in a small northern part of Mexico. It's not supposed to be this opulent place. It looks like, Buenos Aires or something. They kind of overdid that in the new series. It does touch a little so far on the magical realism, of that sort of Latin movement that was going on at the time when these books were written. However, it doesn't seem as magical, although it doesn't get as magical until later in the book, so I can forgive it that. But I'm not sure I'm going to even watch the rest of it, because it just seems like they're trying too hard and they're overdoing it. I get that they are reintroducing it to new audiences, and that's really great. It looks all very glamorous and crisp, but it's really not supposed to. The original movie had this sort of sepia cinematography by the brilliant Emmanuel Lubezki, who of course later went on to win an Oscar for Gravity. But yes, he is a brilliant cinematographer, and he made that movie just so sensual and romantic and gorgeous. And this new one just seems almost CGI-like. It's just too over the top and too beautiful. And it doesn't have this underscore of like desperate romance. It just seems too beautiful and too overdone is my point. And I think the original movie really did a good job of that with the sepia tones that it had. They made it look like a real, almost Western, almost like a Mexican Western movie, because that's what it is. It's in the North. Like I said, I'm probably not going to watch any more of it. I don't think we needed this movie. I think if modern audiences want to see it, they should watch the original. I mean, the original movie was huge when it came out. I'm not sure if you remember, I do. It was at one point the #1, the highest grossing foreign language movie of all time, until later when Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon came along. But at one time, this movie was extremely groundbreaking. And if you watch it now, you still can see it. I mean, it has a warmth to it, and it has an authenticity to it, and it has a certain passion to it that this new glossy, over-glamorous Cinderella story is just not quite getting. So, watch it if you must, but HBO always also plays the original. And of course, you probably find it on any streaming nowadays. But I recommend seeing the original. And of course, if you want the real story, you may not have visited her house or anything like the duck has, but I recommend reading the original book by Laura Esquivel. It was a huge bestseller. They also, of course, made it an English language version of it as well. But yes, I recommend reading the story if you can. If you're stuck on Frontier Airlines where there's no Wi-Fi, it's a great opportunity to read Like Water for Chocolate. But anyway, yeah, I recommend, I'm going to give it 2 thumbs down so far for the first episode. I wouldn't say it's worth your time. Watch the original, read the book.